I'm making a physics-based sports game where flight is your main method of movement. Why? Well, I really like Rocket League. I like Rocket League a lot, and my favorite part of Rocket League is flying around. But you don't get to do that all the time because of how the game's mechanics work. So I thought it'd be cool to make a game where that's the primary mechanic. So I created this drawing where you see a little flying robot, a little blaster, and 2 floating goals. And that's what I'm gonna make. So let's jump into it. So the first step was to get the box moving, gave the box a movement controller as well as the camera to look at the box. Camera's a little wonky here while flying, but I have improved it. Over to Blender, get rid of the box. I'm making a dome that's gonna go over the field. Selecting the perimeter points so that I can fill. When I filled that second wall, I messed up the UVs so that when you look at it from one side, it knows not to render. It's gonna do that on the wrong side. So that's gonna be a problem later. Bringing it in just to kind of get a sense for the scale. I have like reference models in the engine already, which you can see there, but they are not mine. I believe they were free to use, but I wanted to make my own because then I can fine tune it anything that's needed for the gameplay. The object has like an inside ring and an outside right now, so I'm removing the outside so it's just each face is only there once. So that's what I did. Scaled it up so I can work inside it. Working on the goal next. Pretty convenient. There's a torus shape just already available for you, which is the exact shape I want. The inner ring was too small in the first one, making the ring of the goal itself too large. So had to remake it there. And looks better now. Making a cylinder and putting it inside, which will serve as like a, I'll throw a collider on that so that I can measure like when the ball goes through. Easy. I think. I'm not 100% sure that's how I'm gonna do that. I'll have to see how it works. But just in case, seeing how it's all scaling together here, because I'm scaling the parent, the goal was scaling weird with it, threw the materials on there just so I could see what it would look like, and it looked pretty good. A little bit like a spoon though. Making the outer part of the stadium now. So yep, carving out that inner ring first. I leave that object there because I thought it might be cool to like put the whole like dome on top of like an object on the inner circle, but I end up not doing that. I'm making steps now. I'm doing that by not having it go all the way through the bottom, and then as long as I scale it down and move it downwards the same amount each time, it'll make symmetrical steps. And I make 3 steps, and it looks pretty good. Working on the buildings that are going to surround the steps. My object wasn't scaling in object mode and I wasn't sure why. Thought you could do that, maybe I accidentally turned it off. Yep, so I just merged the points at the top there to create a roof, pointy roof. When I cut out the like viewing area in the building, I didn't rotate the cube, and I also left the sides in. So have to redo it here. Rotate it 45 degrees. And then scale it wider so that it cuts out the edges. Looks good. Next, I'm making the notch. So just back to normal rotation, make it skinny. You want it to cut through the top there, which it didn't on the first one because I didn't make it tall enough. So undo that, make it taller, redo it. Perfect. All right, time to delete all of the models I've been using as reference. Bring in my models. And I want the building to have a bunch of them and circle the stadium, so that's what I do here. Luckily, the pivot point was the center of the entire thing, so all I had to do was mess with the rotation. Separated that one broken face, flipped the normal, re-imported it, and then I'll have that face fixed. A temporary solution. Throw on a transparent material as well as a grid box texture so that you get some sense of scale while being next to it as when you're in game, and also so you can see through it and see the pretty environment I'm making. Put the goal in, duplicate it, recenter everything because I must have messed it up somehow. Make the dome the right size. Goals got scaled weird, fix that. Or put on the correct textures through the glass material onto the inner portion of it. Here, I'm 3D modeling just a low poly broom because I thought instead of having a box flying around, it could be fun to see a broom. Didn't put a lot of effort into the bristles, but overall not a bad broom. But then I make an interesting choice with the color of it, you'll see here, because it's parented to the player, so it is in the same position as where the player object is. The scaling was all messed up there, so I had to fix that. Turn the cube off. Normals are broken on the bristles. Kind of looks like a plunger. Thought it'd be cool if the goals had colored bases here, so you can kind of tell which way you're facing when you're playing the game. Probably have customization there, so you get to pick which color it is. Adding color to the buildings on the outside of the stadium. Just thought red, green, blue would be cool. Checking it out in game. Instead of having just the broom, I put the box on the broom, and it worked good because you could tell which way the box was facing now. Working on the gravity and bounciness of the ball. Making a little egg crowd member here. I'm going to put a code on them that will make them jump on a random interval. And when there's a bunch of them, it'll look like the bouncing of a crowd. Takes a lot of drag and dropping though, so I put it off. Made the goals taller, and this is what we get. So pretty hard to control. Not sure how I'd make it easier if I just leave it as a difficult game. You can see I was trying to do an upwards dribble there with it, and I think it would be cool if you get a bunch of consecutive hits on it. Big bank shot there. I think adding a feature where you could like pause your velocity and aim in a certain direction and launch in that direction towards the ball could be useful to making it easier to play. Or when there's just more players on the field, it gets easier, maybe. Who knows? And then a crazy shot there, which obviously would have been a goal. But I need to code that, which I'll do next, so stay tuned.